These two are the same edit. The only difference is the graph. Most editors are just dragging keyframes around and praying that maybe it will look good, but it never does. If your animations look cheap, it's not your preset pack's fault. It's your graph editor. Today I'm breaking down the graph and keyframe types you need to know in order to make expansive looking edits. And I will rank them on a tier list based on how smooth they look. Our first keyframe is gonna be linear, and linear is the OG classic. It's the keyframe that happens when you do any animation. You don't have to select it. I don't usually use it. I usually press F9, but whenever you're trying to make a loop animation, maybe something should be moving in a circle constantly. Whenever you need constant motion, you use the linear keyframe. For that, it's going to go into the B tier. It's not bad, but it's also not anything crazy. The next keyframe is gonna be F9 on crack. So this one is when you press F9 and you drag the bottom handle to the left. This is gonna be ease out. It's a smooth animation, classic. Everyone uses it. I love this. Obviously, this is gonna go into S tier. I wanna show you this plugin Flow. It's not sponsored, it's just the plugin I'm gonna be using in this video, so I might as well show you. They have these default settings with their confusing ass names. Ignore that and ignore these charts because you're not gonna use like 80% of them, right? That's why I just made a quick preset. So you can just click here, import my expensive graphs, just click ease out and then click apply. In Flow, keyframes are inverted. This top handle is actually flipped vertically when you go into the graph editor here. So you can see that long one is on the top on Flow, but it's on the bottom here. I don't know why it's like this. That's just the plugin. You get used to it, you know, flip it in your head. But what does this value graph represent? The value graph shows value over time. Basically, the more vertical the white line is, the faster your animation is going to move. On the speed graph, it's the same thing, except it's like a mountain. When the mountain is the highest peak, that is when the animation moves the fastest, right? I've made a big chart with all these keyframes. I will leave the link in my middle note in the description. You can use this, you can download it to reference to it at any point and learn how the animations look. Next keyframe is Ease Out Exponential 2. This one is legendary. And I use it in animations, in transitions, in transform movements on the screen. First off, I'm gonna apply it to our ball. It looks like the ball is just moving on a few degrees on the screen, but if you turn on motion blur, you can see that it's going all around this circle, except it is so fast. It's the sharpest keyframe that you can have. And I like to use this, but I don't use the first keyframe because it's so abrupt. I like to go mid-motion. So I delay this by one keyframe in all my animations like this. And then we just spawn into the motion and it looks a lot smoother. It doesn't go from the start. I use this whenever I have a 3D object, maybe it's coming in, or whenever I have a transition on screen and it's a position from left to right. If I spawn into the motion and I don't show the first keyframe, this is a top tier keyframe for making your animations expensive. It's going straight into S tier. Next one is Ease Out Linear In. This one looks like this inside of After Effects once you apply the Flow preset, and the ball is gonna look like that. It's like a glorified ease out, but the only difference is it does not ease into it the way that a normal ease out does. This just immediately starts the movement by moving. This is more niche, but it's still a necessary keyframe which you will use a lot. Personally, not my favorite. I don't use it too often, but it does make your animations look expensive. Everything on this list is crafted to do that. So I'm gonna put this into C tier. Moving on is the Ease In. The Ease In animation is basically the Ease Out, but opposite. Ease In because it's so horizontal here, the white line, and then it becomes super vertical towards the end. I also don't really use Ease Out very often. It's not my favorite graph either. So I'm just gonna put it into C tier again. Just ain't it, you know. By the way, if you wanna learn how to make expensive looking edits and you have a little bit of experience in editing, go check out my course, Motion Ascent. Get it now, it's on discount because I just released it. It's gonna teach you everything you need to know about making really smooth keyframes. We're gonna make this from the raw files all the way to the final product. Every step I am breaking down. It's got over 100 modules, talking head modules, theory about video editing and how to go about clients. It's a lot of value and you will get out of there, no matter your experience level, learning quite a lot. So go check that out. Next up is gonna be Ease In Expo 1. This is a really nice graph. On the ball it looks terrible, but when you're going into the transition, you use a Ease Out, really abrupt. When you're coming out of the transition, you use this and you delay it by one keyframe again. You get this really smooth animation. Good stuff for retention. So I'm gonna put this into A tier. Pretty cool keyframe. Moving on to the simple F9. It's called Easy Ease, an upgrade from the linear keyframe. You press F9, it's gonna give you this. The classic, the hood classic. I personally use this whenever I'm doing a loop animation, for example, a shake up and down animations, and then I write a quick script in there with the alt click, loop out, and I put this keyframe there again. Yeah, this is another solid keyframe. It's not gonna go too high in the tier. I'll just put it into B tier. And so the speed graph can be manipulated in many ways, but mostly you will just drag it along this black line, or maybe slightly elevated for a bit of a linear movement. Whenever it's elevated up, you can see here the straight line is not on 0 degrees, but it's actually on wherever you drag it, so minus 100, right, in this case. And so that means it's never gonna stop moving. It's gonna be constantly linear here. But here it will have 0 degrees per second movement, and it's gonna start and go crazy into minus 450. So when you switch to the value graph, it would look like this. Next up is this weird keyframe. I like to call it a inverse S-curve. This is how it looks in Flow and in After Effects. On the ball it looks hella weird because most of the time it's not moving, but in my opinion this is a nice keyframe. I don't use it very often, to be fair, unless I'm doing some motion design project that's like minimalistic, like this design. But this will go into D tier. Compared to the ones that Flow put in there, to all of these keyframes, like what the hell is this? Who uses the circ in? So mine are way better. Moving on to this, you can't even see the bottom keyframe. I call this the ease in, overshoot out. This is how it looks in Flow and in After Effects. So you see this black bar, this is the 0 value, and then if it goes below that, it's going to overshoot and go in the opposite direction. So you can see here it's going in the opposite direction for a little bit, and then it comes back to normal in a linear way. And you can see here the overshoot, it doesn't stop in the middle, it goes a bit beyond. This is pretty useful for a lot of animations. This is going to go into the mid tier, B tier. Next up is the S-curve overshoot out. In After Effects it looks like this. Same thing as the last keyframe, except it's a lot more abrupt in the middle. You can see the line is literally vertical, and so it's moving super fast here, and it overshoots slightly. This is also a great keyframe, although it's kind of niche. Gonna go into the C tier. Now the cool thing with the value graph is that you can make whatever keyframe you want. You can do this insane overshoot, which if you go into the speed graph, it looks like this. This is kind of crazy, and if we try to remake it, it would be a lot of work. So you'd have to go like all the way here and then move this one all the way down into the thousands. And only now you're gonna have the same keyframe, but it's not with the same accuracy. It's not meant for these crazy movements. That's why the value graph is there. Next one is the opposite of the last one, S-curve overshoot in. It just overshoots at the start. This one's a lot nicer on the ball. I'm just gonna put it in the slightly higher category than the last one. Next one is ease out exponential 1. This is another hood classic. It's gonna go straight into S tier. I use this keyframe all the time in basically all my animations. It's a really fast at the start, smooth at the end. Sick animation for making your edits look expensive. In fact, I kind of overuse this. Yeah, this is going into S tier, definitely. Next one is ease in, linear out. It's also one of those really nice smooth keyframes. I don't really use it that often, you know, it's not my best friend. So I'm gonna put this keyframe into C tier, because it's like, who uses this, you know? But next one is gonna be ease in, exponential 2. It's also a really fast, crazy keyframe. It's as fast as it could possibly go. And I use this for transition out also. This is gonna go into A tier, and it's used in many different edits. And so with the speed graph, you will usually just press F9 and drag this to the left, to the right. You'll do something like this, maybe an animation out, but it starts a little bit linear. You can just zoom into the chart, raise this up a little bit, and boom, now it's linear constantly, and then it goes very fast at the end. That's the basics of how this graph works. If you get Flow, it will make your life way easier, and it will help you get a hold of how the keyframes work and understand motion. Next one is the exponential S-curve. I use it very often, and it's kind of like an upgrade from the ease out exponential 2. So instead of putting the keyframe behind, you can actually have the keyframe in the middle, and it peaks like that. And so you can have a very smooth transition, a very smooth animation that's showing signs of movement at the start, and then it goes really fast in the middle as if it almost teleports, then eases out. This is a great keyframe which I use so much. I'm gonna put this into S tier because it's amazing, right? Next one is S-curve overshoot in. So it's same as the S-curve overshoot out, except it looks sick on this ball animation. I think this is a nice keyframe, which I find myself using from time to time. This is gonna go into A tier because I really like it. And our last one is the S-curve overshoot in both directions. In After Effects, it looks like this. So it's overshooting at the start, really fast in the middle, and towards the end. It's another one of those geometric nice calculated keyframes, which I love to use. So this is gonna go into A tier. I love this one. That's it. That's all the keyframe types that there are. Make sure you like, subscribe, whatever, and check out Motion Ascent. Link is right in the description. Buy it and you will never regret it. And I did not hold back on anything. I gave you all my secrets, how to be more creative, how to deal with clients, the whole step-by-step on making this animation. It's just insane. Lots of hours of footage, lots of modules to learn from. Cheers. God bless.